What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your time with me, for subscribing. My blog is about faith, family, and fitness, and I just share stories of my life, my experience, my education with you, stuff that has just helped me along this journey. So if I say anything or share anything that resonates with you or helps you, please subscribe. I would love to have you, and we're just gonna keep it moving. So today I want to share a little bit about vulnerability and opportunities to operate in vulnerability and what we can sometimes go to or revert to when we don't always recognize when we're in a space of vulnerability. We can turn to those negative emotions and they can have a lot bigger impact on these situations if we don't recognize them in the moment. So I'm reading a book right now, and I hope you guys read. Reading is fundamental. They say that, but no, it really is. We cannot grow in wisdom by ourselves. We don't gain new knowledge just from life experience. We owe it to ourselves to gain new knowledge and new wisdom from people who have learned about it, went to school for it, lived it themselves. So do yourself a favor and read this year. You won't regret it. So anyway, I am reading a book called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And I first discovered her on Oprah's Super Soul Sundays. And I think that my mouth was hanging open the entire hour. I think I just was at the TV because my mind was just blown by everything she was sharing. She is a researcher that deals a lot with vulnerability and wholehearted living and talking about embracing our imperfections. So anyway, this book is really helping me. Like in the first 3 chapters, it's like ripping me to shreds. But pick it up if you were looking for something that talks about vulnerability and operating in that space and how we can help ourselves. It's called Daring Greatly. So anyway, I am reading that book, and it really helped me in a situation recently that I had with my husband, an encounter. And if I wasn't able to recognize how I was feeling and the emotions that were caused in the space of vulnerability, my reaction to my own feelings would have made the situation 10 times worse. So I was having an extremely insecure moment in a space of vulnerability. And I was able to thankfully pinpoint that the emotion was insecurity. Sometimes when we don't think intently enough about the emotion we are feeling, we can label it as something else. So thankfully I was able to accurately recognize the emotion of insecurity. And I debated for a while about whether to say anything to my husband about it. And I'm gonna just keep it real. Y'all know how I do. I gotta be transparent. I was feeling insecure about my body image. After 2 kids, stuff that was never there is there now. Stretch marks and the like. Fat is harder to get off. Muscle is harder to put on. You couple that with being in your mid-30s, and then you got a whole new storm to deal with. So I wasn't at all in an ungrateful space. I am super thankful that I have a strong body, that I can work out every day, that I like to work out. All of those things I am grateful for. But I was just really feeling insecure in the moment about this new body that I have to deal with and work around that wasn't there 10 years ago. So I was feeling really insecure, and I just debated whether to say anything to Michael or not. And I finally said, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there, and regardless of his response, at least I put it out there. It is better than saying nothing and then dwelling in those feelings, and a couple hours later he's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. Knowing full well something is bothering me. Relationship communication tip: nothing is never a good response to what's wrong when something is really, that's never an appropriate response. So take that little nugget. But so I decided to just put it out there since I was feeling it in the moment. I recognized that's what the emotion was. I put it out there. That I am just feeling really insecure right now. And it was great just to get it out there, to communicate that. Anybody that's been married for any length of time will tell you, whether they've been married 2 years or 2 decades, they will tell you that communication is either going to make or break your relationship. So just communicating the fact that I was feeling insecure was a big step in the right direction. So he did what a lot of men typically do. Don't get mad, men. But y'all tend to think that you should fix everything, that we're looking for a solution. And that is not always the case. And especially with strong-willed women, that's usually not the case at all. We're not looking for you to fix anything. We're just looking for a sounding board, some support, just somebody to relate to. So he, of course, was very supportive and, went down the whole road of 1 million women would kill to be you or have your body. Everybody knows you're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Not that I didn't want to hear that. It's just that when you are in your feelings, as they say, you don't want to hear what everybody else would say or do or think or feel. So I wasn't discounting what he was saying, but it wasn't exactly helping me in the moment. But I still felt supported. I still was grateful that I could have this conversation with him, that I could put this out there and kind of just let it be, release it out into the atmosphere. I think what we don't understand with negative emotions is that we have the power. We take the power back from the dark space when we release it into the atmosphere. So just getting it out there, I'm feeling insecure, is so much better than dwelling in it, letting it fester, letting it turn into something else, resentment, anger. That's the thing with these little seed emotions. They will snowball into bigger, more disastrous negative emotions if we do not release them and identify with them when we are given opportunities to put them out there. So in relationships, in parenting, even at work, in corporate environments, before my husband and I ventured out into being entrepreneurs, I was a manager and director in corporate America for many years, both in the public and private sector. And when we have done something, I don't want to say wrong, but misstepped at work or missed a deadline, something that is clearly our fault, releasing it out into the atmosphere to a boss, a coworker, anybody, where we can take the control back of the situation first is going to serve us a whole lot better than just saying nothing. And we knew that we should take accountability for whatever it is, but we wait until they come to us and say, where's the report? And the deadline was 3 days ago, where you can take your own emotional power back if you go to your boss and say, this report is going to be late. I apologize. I take full responsibility. I take full accountability for my actions that led to it being late, for not asking for help, and so on and so forth. You take the power back of that negative emotion of feeling guilty for doing something when you could have said something earlier to prevent something preventing a situation from getting worse. So releasing tough emotions, those ones that, like I said, are seed emotions that can turn into something else, releasing those into the atmosphere, talking about them, communicating them is going to serve us a whole lot better than letting them fester. Even the ones that are really, really hard to communicate. It's not easy to say to your husband, I feel insecure, I feel ugly, I feel fat. None of that is easy to say. But when we put it out there, we give ourselves an opportunity to grow, to operate in that space of vulnerability, and then we give our loved ones a chance to support us. So y'all know what to do. You know what I'm gonna say. Keep pushing. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I appreciate you. I really do. Keep pushing. You've got this.